also a lot of other workers in this city that suffered immeasurably and yet have been offered no compensation or no assistance whatsoever. I think mostly it's the businesses in the Lower Manhattan area that have had some kind of assistance, and even then, it's not all the businesses in Lower Manhattan.
I'm living in Corona, and I'm renting a house. It's on second floor. I got 3 kids. My elder son is 14 years old, younger one is 12, and most younger one is 7 years old. But I don't have time to spend with them because after September 11, I've been working for just surviving.
Because of Deepu's long work hours, he only gets to see his kids on weekends.
Tired, man. So what do you do? Did you do your homework? Staying on computer?
I made lentils and rice for him because he don't want to spend money on himself, you know. He just wants. He's exhausted when he comes home from work.
When I got the money, I got to pay the rent. I got to pay that bill. I got to pay that bill. I got to pay that bill. So money is gone. Get the food, get the clothes, get the medical stuff like that.
We are waiting for him. When he comes, then we all sit together and eat.
Or I'm taking a shower and going to work.
In order to get FEMA to even consider his case, Deepu must prove that 50% of his income derives from south of Canal Street.
Hi, Vandana.
Hi there.
So,
How are you?
hi, how are you?
Thanks. Come to the conference room.
Hi.
I'll take you there. We'd gone to the Red Cross, and they said that under their rules, taxi cab drivers are not recognized as people affected in the area that they have demarcated as the zone, because your business, they say, was not located in the ground zero area below canal. Whereas a little later, the limousine drivers, who were the delivery drivers, when they showed proof of their contracts with companies in that area, then they were given on a case-to-case basis relief amounts.
Yes.
And the argument the other agencies are making is that the taxi cab drivers do not fall into the category of an affected business in that area.
Since 9/11, over the past 6 months, taxi drivers have had a tremendous loss in income, and yet there's been no relief for the drivers. Taxi drivers are a vital part of New York City workforce. We've invited the members of the charities as well as the government emergency relief efforts to hear testimonies from drivers on how you have been impacted by the events of September 11th.
We have to work 12 to 15 hours a day to get survive, and we're killing ourselves. And we have to work 7 days. And even we are sick, I have to come in the city to look, because we got to pay the rents, we got to pay the other things, all expenses. Thank you very much.
The bottom line of everything you said is that you're right. The program that we monitor has been an utter disaster, and that's the Disaster Unemployment Assistance Program. DUA was created so people like you would get relief. Unfortunately, due to eligibility rules which are completely outdated, completely restrictive, and completely discriminatory to taxi workers and independent contractors, you've been denied.
Safe Horizon has not been able to provide direct financial assistance to taxi drivers. And that's not a personal thing against taxi drivers, it's just a nature of our guideline. And it doesn't mean it's not fair. I've definitely sat here today and I hear your stories, and it's very clear and evident that as an industry and as individuals you have suffered, and the only thing I can say is that I'll take your stories with me and I'll share them with my organization and with the United Way, and I do hope that some relief is available in the future.
Yes, how are you doing?
Can we go to Grand Central Station?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thanks.
I cannot work forever. From morning to all the way to only 2-3 hours I got to spend with time with my family. So I want to work 8, 9 hours, 10 hours. That's it. That's enough.
In October of 2002, the Federal Emergency Management Agency modified its guidelines. It now allows anyone living or working within the 5 boroughs of New York City to be eligible for government compensation, so long as that person can prove a loss of income or an inability to meet rental or mortgage payments. The New York Taxi Workers Alliance has helped cab drivers register for the FEMA aid. Unfortunately, South Asians did not only suffer economically. They soon became the target of hate and violence. Within the first 24 hours of 9/11, the hotline at the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund had documented 200 hate crimes. Days after the tragedy, Sikh Americans throughout the East Coast held a candlelight vigil in Central Park for those who perished. But that didn't stop the fatal shooting of Balbir Singh, a gas station owner in Mesa, Arizona. Several other Sikhs around the country were also killed. In Richmond Hill, Queens, an elderly Sikh man was attacked outside a temple of worship by 4 teenagers wielding baseball bats. A backlash towards South Asians and Arabs had clearly begun. While President Bush spoke out against crimes of hate, Attorney General John Ashcroft ordered thousands of South Asians and Arabs detained and deported. The crime was simple immigration violations. Our next story is about a Pakistani-American family whose lives were turned upside down after 9/11.
My father was standing out on the porch and talking to his friend when the FBI came. So he came inside to get his passport and stuff, and his driver's license and everything. They put the handcuffs on him. At that time, they didn't know why they were taking him, they just took him.
Since my father has been detained, my mom, she has to do, take care of the store and the house and the apartments and the rent, and get all the new carpenters and ask them, she doesn't know she doesn't know about the taxes and all the phone bills and everything, so I kind of help her out too, but it's not enough, because she has to do the laundry. She wakes up sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning.
Acha. The business my parents own is a discount store on Brighton Beach Avenue. Brighton Beach is a very busy community and neighborhood. We're doing a great job. Everybody knows us around here. It's hard to have to sell the business. My family and my father are being deported back to Pakistan.
Like many INS detainees, Muhammad Akram, the father of the family, would rather be deported immediately back to Pakistan than remain in Passaic County Jail. His only contact with his family is through the telephone.